Hi there, Cy Williams, Hi Canada Magazine. We are at the Lift & Co Expo in Toronto, and there is so much activity going on around us. We found a quiet space. I am so happy to have Jordan Wagman, Chef Jordan Wagman, sitting down with me. He just came off the event floor where he has been teaching non-stop. Jordan, what a pleasure. Chef, thank you for joining us. It is a real pleasure. We have been trying to get an interview together for a couple of years now. We keep missing each other. And guess what, YouTube? I finally got him. So here we are, we're at the lift. What do you think?
You know, I will say this before I answer any questions. Thank you for everything that you've done.
Oh man, thank you. That's very nice of you to say.
Thank you for everything that you've done for our space. You've made it a much more approachable place to be. Really, you've done such a great job in our space, and we're very lucky to have you. So thank you.
Well, you know, it's funny that you say that. We are actually going to be turning 10 years old and celebrating our 100th issue. That's a lot of issues. And we've talked about you many times in the magazine. You know, you should really come out to Vancouver in January and celebrate our 100th issue with us. We're blowing up all of our covers. We're talking about, we're putting on a coffee table book with a retrospective of all the interesting personalities, yourself included, who make the Canadian cannabis place what it is. This mature market. We have learned, we have failed, we have thrived, we have legalized it, and we continue to make it better all the time. And it's people like you who are out there continually educating. And you know, food and beverages are so, they've always been in like the smaller portion, but you've been able to bring proper preparation and like high dining in such an organic way that you've been able to, I've watched your career, Chef Jordan. You've been doing it in increments. It's almost like you knew how to cook up a perfect recipe or something.
You know what? I knew that when I changed my life through my diet, and I removed gluten, dairy, and refined sugar, and I began consuming cannabis. Now, I've smoked joints my whole life since I was 12 years old, but I've never consumed cannabis. When I did, in 60 days, my psoriasis went away and I lost 30 pounds after a lifetime of struggling with an autoimmune disease. I realized very quickly that cannabis is medicine, and that we can truly change our life through the use of cannabis and a healthier lifestyle.
Right.
And it's not one-dimensional. You know, our approach to health is not one-dimensional, just like the use of cannabis is not. I don't just consume THC, I consume CBD, CBDA, THCA, terpenes. I take CBN to go to sleep.
So do I.
I mean, I microdose mushrooms to go to sleep. So, you know, it's really, for me, it's about plant medicine. But somebody had to come and cross over from mainstream culinary and sort of take the reins and say, okay, cooking with cannabis is more than just cookies, gummies, and brownies. Cooking with cannabis is a very elevated, beautiful cuisine, but it's really just, it's like cilantro or basil. Like, I'm not a cannabis chef. I'm a chef who cooks with cannabis.
That's right. That is the big distinction. Right?
Absolutely,
there.
100%.
You're not making things with the intent of getting people high or super high or even medicating. You've worked cannabis in organically, and it's how what we're trying to do with stigma right now across this nation, in the U.S. and in Europe. We're trying to destigmatize it. What better way?
Well, and food and beverages, we connect over food and beverage. And, you know, we mourn over food and beverage. We celebrate over food and beverage. We do business over food and beverage.
We love, live,
yes,
laugh,
I mean, food and
around
beverages. And the other part of it is they are familiar ways, they're familiar behaviors, right? So when you think about the future of cannabis, you and I, it's easy to produce products for you and I. We're stoners.
Oh,
like,
100%.
You know, I smoke.
I'm easy to please.
Yeah, I am too, as long as it's good quality.
Oh, quality, yeah. Quality always is very important.
But my dad or people that are kind of curious are not going to be handed rolling papers and flour and say, go roll a joint, but they will consume something that's familiar, a gummy, a mint, tomato soup, brownies that are, right, like, you know, products that, but, I say this as a huge but with good quality ingredients as well as the cannabis. If you combine cannabis with junk, you get junk. You are only as good as the ingredients you're putting into a foodstuff, right? You start with shit, you end with shit.
You know, we say this in the cultivation side of it all the time. If you're putting crap into your plants, you're going to have
shit
crap.
out.
Shit in, shit out, absolutely. And that really applies to ourselves, our bodies, our own health and wellness. So we're all, and as a cannabis industry, we're all a little preoccupied with health and wellness, but without really realizing the ways and the roads we can take, like through cooking, nutrition, health and wellness. That's where you've been able to really bridge that gap.
Absolutely, 100%. I think that, you know, cannabis is medicine, and yes, I smoke joints to get high, but why am I getting high? You know, that's always been the question. I used to think, and I joke with people often and say I used to think it was because I liked the Grateful Dead and I had long hair and smoked joints. But the truth is that I had psoriasis and I was solving for a need state. I just didn't know it at the time, but I do know it today. You know,
that's actually very well spoken. That's a good.
We don't know often. You know, there are many people smoking joints today or consuming cannabis. They don't know why. No. They just think that they like it, and they may very well like it. I enjoy it, but it does calm me down. You know, it does drive my inflammation down. It helps me be where I need to be, and I consume cannabis differently for different purposes,
Absolutely.
Right? If I want to get high, I'll smoke a joint, but my consumption of cannabis is way beyond that. I take hundreds of milligrams a day, and it's different cannabinoids. The other part of it is terps. Terpenes are a huge part of what it is that I do, and why we are not focused more on bridging the non-consumer over to cannabis using terps, I'm not really sure. You know, they all walk the same aisles in Loblaws. Why are we not putting a beverage on there, in the aisles at Loblaws that just have terpenes, right? We have doTERRA and sage; those are essential oils. What's the difference? So we take a botanical terpene, we put it in a beverage, and boom! Now we're starting to educate people where they are, because those kind of curious, they're not going into a dispensary to buy something, but they will go to Loblaws or to a grocery store.
So do you hear that, Loblaws? We are calling you out. We're going to make sure we tag you in this video. This is a challenge to you. You know, it's time for, like the rest of us in this industry, you need time to grow up and join us.
Amen.
Amen. So, what are some highlights for you of today's show?
You know, I'm so excited because today's the first time that we're really highlighting and leaning into the cannabis food and beverage content.
Okay.
So, Lyft has now added another asset to their conferences in San Francisco. It's called Taste at Lyft Cannabis Food and Beverage Experience, which is 100% cannabis food and beverage content. It's panels, it's demonstrations, it's a one-on-one, and it's really there to educate those in emerging markets. It's talking about people looking for a new supply chain. You know, it's really all about focused on everything cannabis food and beverage. Today,
that's San Francisco.
That's San Francisco.
August 2nd.
August 2nd through 4th.
Yes, so it's going to be an exciting show.
It's really going to be amazing. But we
Look
started
for USA at that show.
Amen.
Yeah.
And we just started curating this content here at the Toronto Lyft Show.
What a great place to unveil it.
Absolutely.
And what do you think what's the reception?
It's been unbelievable.
I saw a huge crowd.
It was great. The Diners Club has been great. And so we had 2 exciting panels talking about, you know, cannabis beverages and mixology, and the importance of mixology, the importance of RTDs, how to create that quality product. And we also did something about, you know, the future of cannabis food, you know, looking beyond gummies, cookies, and brownies, where we had chefs and we had CPG experts on that panel. And then I did a cooking demonstration with Chef Romain Avril, who is truly one of Canada's top talents. And on stage, I was very clear in pointing out how blessed we are in this country to have somebody of his ilk come over to cannabis, who has a Michelin star background, and now talking about destigmatizing. This is how we destigmatize.
100%, and that is really heartening news to hear as well. Okay, so are you here tomorrow?
I'm here tomorrow.
What do you have planned?
We have two more panels and a mixology demo in the Diners Club. It is going to be lights out. We have chefs coming in, Erica and Josh. Erica won Top Chef Canada. Josh is her husband, who was runner-up at Top Chef Canada. We have superstars galore and a mixology demo with 2 amazing humans. sense.
So I'm going to make sure this video, this interview with Chef Jordan is up by dawn. But just in case you're watching this video and it's months away, the FOMO is real. This was a cannot miss event. The day before, there's a lot of buzz on the floor about it. As you just heard from Chef Jordan, there's going to be some amazing people there, and this is going to be kicking off some very exciting things.
Amen.
So if you see this, it's the morning of the 3rd, come on down. This is cannot miss entertainment and education, and if you missed it, well,
You missed it.
you missed it. You have to come out next time.
Exactly.
Okay, besides the Lift San Francisco, what do you got planned for the rest of the year?
I have a new book coming out called
Congratulations!
Will. Thank you. It's called Will, How I Found My Health Through Food. And yeah, just a lot of different projects, but really focused primarily on the San Francisco Lift event.
When does your book come out?
In the next month.
Okay, and where can our viewers find it?
Where books are sold.
Where books are sold. One more time, the title?
Will, How I Found My Health Through Food.
Okay, you know what? That's going to be a bestseller. I hope I get a copy.
Absolutely.
Get out the rest
Signed,
of the
sealed,
night.
and delivered.
Oh, I love it. Okay, that's all the time we have right now. Chef Jordan, thank you for joining
Thanks.
us so much. This is Cy Williams, High Canada Magazine, High Canada Magazine Interviews, and we'll see you later.